Has the media message been so ugly in the wake of the proposed settlement against the Realtors? That's probably the number one question I've gotten in messages on social media, emails, texts, phone calls, and it's from normal, everyday practicing Realtors. Those messages coming in aren't coming from purported leaders. They're not coming in from anybody with a salary paycheck. The questions are coming in from the people who really feel hurt by the headlines. And the biggest frustration that's going on in the profession right now, there's been very little chorus of support for what Realtors have done in their communities, for what Realtors are doing for their clients, and what we've traditionally done inside a very efficient marketplace to create more opportunities for the American dream and for property ownership. So why is the media message so negative? Well, let's just look at that for a second. We live in a society that does not like to take responsibility for anything. And when that happens, look at the big picture, y'all. We are living with insane levels of inflation. And I say insane, I mean, it's high by our standards. It's not Jimmy Carter level yet, so I guess it could be crazier. It's definitely not Venezuelan or Argentinian at this point, but it's pretty bad because our wage growth hasn't kept up with inflation. We're looking at a time right now where the cost of fuel is starting to pick up steam because we have a whole different environment going on globally with energy. So it's expensive, and houses are expensive, not just because of inflation and because of supplies, but because of basic supply and demand. We don't have enough housing in the U.S. right now. Building permits are behind by at least 10 years, and you have this influx of millions of people, some of whom are legal immigrants and a lot of whom have been illegal border crossers, but all of whom add to the demand for housing. So housing costs have gone up. Well, just pay attention to all the headlines. There's got to be a scapegoat for housing being expensive. And guess what? It's going to be you, the Realtors. Now, ask yourself why you're the scapegoat. There's a million reasons why. Actually, there's 1.5 million reasons why. It's because you, my friends, are not controlled by anybody. You are entrepreneurs. You are the American dream. For a few $100, you went through pre-licensing and got that license. For a couple thousand more, you got affiliated with your multiple listing service and the associations and the proper brokerage model so that you could get yourself going in the business. And then somehow, some way you survived in a very, very hard business. I get a little tickled by the way we promote this raising the bar idea. Well, you realize the bar is already pretty high in real estate, right? It's low to get in, but man, oh man, it is high to survive. We are in a business where the number has been really sticky for a long time, that 85% of people who get their license quit within the first 2 years. It's not because it was easy to get in that they quit. They quit because it's hard to survive. And those of you who have survived, it's because you've worked really hard to take care of your neighbors through real estate. Now, I'm not saying all. There's a whole bunch out there that frankly could turn in their license today and I'd be grateful. There's a whole bunch out there that are mediocre because they choose to be mediocre. But I would never broad brush our entire profession and say that we have overcharged our professional fees or that we haven't done an amazing job for buyers and sellers. And where has that chorus of voices been to fight back against this really negative narrative? Well, friends, it's not going to come from any trade association. No association is going to swoop in and save the day. It's not going to come from any brand because the brands are all figuring out what they're going to do next. It's going to have to come from you. And what I will tell you is that right now, you're going to have to think about where you can get this message out there. Where can a positive message come from? Well, probably shouldn't come from us. Because if we tell our own story, that feels self-serving, and people think realtors are self-serving, but that's because they don't know you like I do. It can come from your clients, though. So if somebody's watching this and you've ever had a good situation happen because of your realtor went to bat for you and kept you from buying a house you shouldn't have bought, or helped you sell a house and made the process work for you, we'd like for you to speak up for us. Maybe you could reach out to your local paper and do a letter to the editor, or you could make a post on social media and say, my realtor was not a snake or a thief or a scoundrel and did a really good job for me. That's the chorus of voices that we need to hear from. Now, if you're wondering why we haven't heard from the general public, well, friends, real estate is infrequent. So I have a very hard reality point for you here. With all of the kerfluffle going on around the real estate profession and the structure of our business, a lot of us that are in the business are hearing a cacophony. It's so loud talking about real estate and the lawsuits and the settlements and how things are going to work. Well, that's because we're in the silo of real estate. We're in this thought bubble because that's what we live and eat and sleep and breathe. The general public, though, is more focused on things like the bridge collapse outside of Baltimore. They're worried about Princess Kate. They're wondering about the cost of gas and what it costs to go to the grocery store. And summer vacations are coming up and it's pollen season. They're not thinking about real estate 24/7 like you are. Real estate is so complex that most people are stressed the heck out during the process. And then when it's over, they do a little bit of compartmentalizing, and I would say it's not as severe as PTSD, but for a lot of people going through the real estate process, you've heard them at the closing table too, friends. Ain't doing this again. Nope. Because packing up is hard, moving is hard, getting the utilities set up and getting to know which light switches work what, that's all very absorbing of time and energy, and people don't do it that often. I mean, the average American is going to be in just a couple of homes in their lifetime. So they're not living this real estate story with us. So maybe, just maybe, we need to refocus where our energy should be. Talk to those past clients. Ask them if they have questions about anything in real estate. I wouldn't necessarily prod them about the lawsuits because they may not be interested in it and not want to talk about it for an hour, but you could ask them if they need help with real estate needs. You could encourage the people who love you and trust you to reach out to the local media, or like I said, make a post and talk about how real estate was not terrible for them, that they had a successful transaction, because we look at the data. The data have borne it out year over year. Most of the public prefers to use a professional when they go through real estate. And we also have the data that show you net more for your house when you use a realtor than if you go by owner. It doesn't mean by owner shouldn't be an option. Absolutely, it should be. But it also means that you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So look at the whole story. And then let's get more thoughtful about what's happening in our business. We all are going to have to agree on something. And call me controversial if you want. I'm used to that by now. I've been in the business for 24 years. I'm the child of a realtor, so I was a backpack baby realtor for a long time. My granddad was a home builder, so I know how houses used to be built, and yes, it's a higher quality then than it is now. So I have a long time in and around this space. In my 24 years, I've participated in over 4,000 transactions. So I can look at you without guise and without hyperbole and tell you that, yes, I know more than almost anybody else in this market about real estate. Not everybody, because there are some that are highly educated. I love learning from them too, but I know more than most. I've educated myself far more than most. I pride myself on training a team that is so much better than I am at this business. We live to do more real estate and do it at an excellent level. I should cost more than most agents in this market. That's what's been uncomfortable about this, isn't it? Because when I was a baby agent, my very first deal, I should have gotten paid less, shouldn't I? Shouldn't there be a time where we pay our dues and earn our keep and roll our sleeves up and learn the hard way and make our way forward in the business and not get paid oodles and scads of money out of the gate? Maybe that's where the business is going. We're going to go more towards a business that there could be some numbers that some companies charge because they provide an entirely different level than other companies. Now, we've had companies in the market as long as I've been in the business that charge all these different numbers, but I just believe we're going to see more of that. And as some of you already know, I'm going to use my hair as an example. I am very vain. I know it. I go to the best hairdresser in Charlotte and I would stack him up against anybody for his skill at being a blonde whisperer and the way he can do a cut that makes me look expensive? Yes. I am delighted to pay what he charges because he is experienced and educated, continues to get educated, and he is the best. I gladly pay a premium for him. I could also go to supercuts. That's available in this market too. But Leigh Brown ain't going to supercuts because I'm past that phase in what I want. The same thing should be true for real estate, that there is a very inexpensive option for those who just really don't need to have the most expensive, most knowledgeable in the market, or they've chosen to do their own research. They think they know as much as an experienced realtor does. I wish them well. They've got other options. My business will continue to be built on those who want the best kind of professional. And by the way, those are the clients that read these headlines and they know it doesn't apply here in Concord, North Carolina. They know they have options. And by the way, they're aware that most of those articles they're reading are written by people in the Acela corridor who have probably never bought and sold real estate. So ask yourself, friends, what's the source of the information? And before you get heated up, read the whole thing. Take a step back outside of your thought corridor and then go talk to the person who values you. They're still out there, and so am I. By the way, I'm not going anywhere.